Happy New Year to everybody. The second day of the year, January 2nd. So Happy New Year. I hope y'all caught my broadcast, my premiere on my budget binder and how I use it. It just premiered. So if you have not seen it yet, I'm looking for something to write on. If you have not seen it yet, be sure to head over there and watch it after this live stream. It is now live and posted. But yeah, guys, Happy New Year. I really don't post on Mondays, but I was working on my budget binder yesterday. I was getting everything organized with it, and I decided to record. So I recorded it so people can see how I budget and how I use my budget binder. The budget binder is what really helped me to pay off debt quick. The cash envelopes, basically. So I use cash envelopes. Cash is what helps me to stay on schedule with my monies. It's what helps me to just have something tangible in my hand that I can feel, that it's leaving or that it's coming. So the budget binder slash cash envelopes has really helped me. So that's what I'm going to be talking about today. Not going to hold you for too long, but yeah, y'all, I definitely want to just share, a little bit more about my financial journey in 2023. I'm coming into the year debt free, and that feels so, so good because this time last year, I was actually paying off my last student loan. So I was, and my student loans, I had about six different ones. The smallest ones were like 1,100, and the biggest one, which was the last one that I paid off, was 5,000. So that took me like, I guess maybe like 2 months. I'm not quite sure. I guess a little more than 2 months, probably like three. I was on that tail end of 2021. And then January of 2022 is when I paid it off. It was like mid-January. I remember my goal was to pay it off by the end of 2021, but I didn't quite make that. But just a few weeks later, I paid it off. So to anybody who is on a debt-free journey, definitely set goals for yourself, but also remember, this is a journey. It's a marathon, not a sprint. So if you don't make the goal, that you hope to set, just look at where you are, or just look at what you did accomplish, right? So it's okay if you didn't meet your payoff goal, at the time that you wanted. You're going to make it. Just keep staying on track. Whether you pay it off a month later or a month earlier, it still feels the same, y'all. Still feels good. So for anybody who is paying off debt right now, keep going. Shout out to y'all. I was there just a little while ago, and I know exactly what it feels like. So yeah, y'all. So I'll let some folks kind of get in here. And yeah, we're going to be talking about budget binders. If you have any questions, be sure to drop them in the chat. If you haven't already, be sure to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. We are now over 1K subscribers, and I am so, so, so excited. Oh, hi, Lakita. Happy New Year. Thanks for coming over here with me. So yeah, today I just premiered my stuff in my cash envelopes, and I use cash envelopes to keep me on a budget, and my cash envelopes are what have really helped me to pay off debt. So a little bit about my debt-free journey. In September 2020, or during the pandemic, during like the height of the pandemic, I got on a debt-free journey. I was $43,000 in debt, and I do have another live stream that kind of talks about my debt-free journey, so be sure to check that out. But I was $43,000 in debt. I had some of everything. I had a car loan. I had student loans. I had a bed, a cell phone. Basically, if you could finance it, I financed it. I was a hot mess in my finances. I was like the payment queen. And I just had gotten tired of making all these payments, giving all my hard-earned money away. I remember I would have like all these reminders on my phone so that I didn't forget to pay what I needed to pay. And I just got tired of it. Like, I got tired of making payments. I got tired of not knowing where my money went. And I started following the Dave Ramsey program. So he has the 8 baby steps. Is it 7 or 8? Yes, Lakita, it was not a good feeling. Like, it does not feel good to work all week and then like you have nothing to show for it. Like, ooh, I remember that feeling. It was very frustrating, like defeating. So that's why that was the main reason why I decided to become debt free. In addition, I just wanted like freedom. I wanted to know what it felt like to come to work and not have to be there. I wanted to know what it felt like to have control over my money. Yeah, so I remember being there. I was right where you were, 22, a little over 22 months ago now, 2 years ago now. And yeah, I was struggling, didn't know what was coming in. Well, I knew what was coming in, but I didn't know what was going out. And it just like, it sucked. Like, I remember that feeling. I remember like this was August 2020 and I had more month than money because I wasn't budgeting. I was just swiping, and it was just a mess. And I remember feeling like I am never gonna be like, I'm never gonna feel like this again. I need to do something about my money. So I saw an Instagram post from somebody, from one of my friends on Instagram, and it was a repost from the Dave Ramsey page. And it was this lady, I'll never forget. She was in like the ER. She had on scrubs. She had a mask on, so she was like a doctor or something. And she was holding up a sign, and it had 6 figures on it. It was like a 6 figure number, and it was like, I'm debt free. And I was like, what? Now, I didn't know my number at the time, but I knew it wasn't 6 figures. And I was like, I can do this. And like, I went to his page. I started with the podcast. I still listen to it every day. Um, the podcast is free, the Dave Ramsey Show. And I started listening to the podcast, and then I bought his book, The Total Money Makeover. That was the first book that I ever read about money. And I read it like in a week, and I started the baby steps. So I saved $1,000 for my baby emergency fund. I cut up all my credit cards, and I started the debt snowball, which is baby step 2, so paying off debt. So I ranked all of my debt from smallest to largest, and I started paying it off. So if you don't know, the debt snowball is basically you rank all of your debt. If you owe it, it's a debt. So every single thing, student loans, that phone you financing, that afterpay outfit you still paying on, all of the things that you owe, you rank them, you write them out from smallest to largest, and you start paying on the smallest debt, and you still make payments on everything else. So let's say like I had a $50 debt, 15. So I cut the cards. That's a good question. I cut the cards before paying them off because I didn't want to use them. I didn't want to be tempted to use them. And the key to getting out of debt is to not keep going into debt. So yeah, that's a good question. So I cut the cards up so that I would not have the temptation to use them. Like, I don't have credit cards. Like, I'm debt free now. I don't have credit cards. I will never use a credit card again because I don't want to be back in debt. So yeah, I cut them up to kill the temptation to, swipe a card. Even though like I wasn't done paying on them. I actually had like a little savings, so and I only had 2 credit cards, I believe. So I paid off one credit card. Like, when I decided to get on the plan, I paid off one credit card that day, cut it up. And the other one wasn't even paid off, but I still cut it up. So yeah, so that's why. Um, but yeah, you don't want to go any further into debt. So you gotta like pry your hands from it because it is hard. I think like we have been told, oh, you use your credit card for emergencies, but it's like, no, you have an emergency fund for an emergency. Of course, we can't plan for things that may just randomly pop up, but we can prepare for them in advance by having an emergency fund, which is 3 to 6 months of your total expenses. So yeah, so that's why I cut it up. Um, so I read the book, I got on board, and for 22 months, because it took me 22 months, I did not eat out. I worked 3 jobs. I worked my 9 to 5. I worked my part-time. I did DoorDash. Well, I worked 4 jobs. And then I started like a side business of teaching just classes to people in the community, and then I would counsel as well because I'm a licensed counselor. So yeah, I worked 4 jobs for 22 months. I worked 7 days a week, and I went in like the Dave Ramsey folks call it rice and beans, meaning that like you're on the bare minimum. Like, yeah, that's what I did. I was starved before I ate out. Like, I just would not do it because that's how bad like I wanted it. So and I just went straight through. And if you haven't seen my debt-free scream already, my debt-free scream is on my YouTube. I went in August of this past year, took to the Dave Ramsey show, and I did a debt-free scream. So that's on my page as well. But yeah, the main thing that helped me to pay off that debt, and 22 months is pretty quick. But what helped me to do that was the budget binder. So I know one thing for me was that I was never on a budget. Like the budget was in my head. Like that's not a budget. Or it's kind of like, oh, well, I kind of know how much I got, so I'm just spend this. And really what I was doing and what a lot of people were doing, like we're just gonna cross our fingers and it'll all work itself out. But that's not how money works. Like you have to actually put some behavior changes and you have to put some education. And that's what it was for me. I had to change my behavior and I had to educate myself. So the first step for me was getting on a budget. So I use the Every Dollar app, and that's through the Dave Ramsey. I guess like his whole thing. I actually have the premium version because I got it once I went to the show. But you can utilize the free version as well. So I utilize the free version for like all of my debt free journey. And I get paid monthly, so I set my budget like a week before I get paid. I will sit down and do my budget. My budget is different every single month because I may have a doctor's appointment this month. I may be going on a trip this month. So, your budget should never really be the same. Of course, some of the like mortgage, rent, things like that are going to be like the same. But for the most part, some other things are going to change. So it's important that you do a written budget every single month. The Every Dollar app was very easy for me. Like I suck at Excel. I cannot do anything in Excel. That is not my ministry. And the Every Dollar app just made it so easy for me. So every week or a week before the month ends, I go in, I do my budget, I sit down, I look at last month's, and sometimes throughout the month, like I'll write things down as they come up. So I may know like, okay, I just got an eye exam. So this month I'm going to be buying some contacts and some more glasses. Um, there are not in this the link to what? To the Every Dollar app or to my debt free scream stuff? If you're talking about the Every Dollar app, I'll link it. I can't link it now, but I'll link it after. I'll link it. Okay. Oh, everything. Okay, so yeah, I have a playlist. So on my page, go to my playlist option. It's kind of like where you'll see videos, live, shorts, and then playlists. And click on my debt-free journey. And there are several videos on there. Yeah. Yeah, so it's under my playlist option and click my debt-free journey. And then I'll be sure to link it. I'll link that in this video as well. But yeah, you're welcome. And all of these things, the only thing that's not free is the book. So the Total Money Makeover was like $12 on Amazon, but you can get a used copy on eBay for $4. It is a very easy read. It was the first thing that I ever read about money, but it made sense. Like it wasn't all these big words and this weird like stuff that people like to talk about when it comes to money. It's very practical. He calls it like grandma's way of handling money. Like grandma carried cash. Like she had a checkbook. She balanced her checkbook. Um, so it's very simple for like the average person, especially for somebody like me who I was not raised on financial literacy. These are new principles that I have now learned. Yeah, it's on audiobook too. So yeah, it is on audiobook. It'll be something, that you can listen to like in a car on the way to work or while you're working out. But yeah, it's on audiobook and the hard copy. I actually got the hard copy because I like to feel the pages, but I know a lot of people like audiobooks. So yeah, it is on audiobook. Very, very easy, simple read. It's a book that like you're not gonna be able to put down. It's a book that is gonna really challenge the way that you think about money. It's going to be a lot of things that you never like heard of. I warn you, the Dave Ramsey folks do not believe in credit scores. They don't care about credit at all. So that's something like to be aware of. And they don't believe in any type of debt outside of a mortgage. So a mortgage is fine, but anything like literally anything outside of that is a no. So yeah, so it's very, very different from what I had ever heard about money. And I really like that book because it challenged my thinking. It helped me to be more flexible in my thinking about new information and money. And then one thing I like when I'm looking at financial folks to follow, like I like for them to look like regular people. Like I don't want to see you dripped in Gucci. I don't want to see you hopping in the bins, telling me like all the stuff that you have, that materialistic stuff. Like I want to hear the information. I want to understand the information. I'm a teacher, or I was a teacher, so it needs to make sense to me. I need to be able to teach it to somebody else, and I want to hear about the why behind why you want to change your money, and that's very important with budget. Like you have to have a why behind why you're trying to change your financial picture. Like, is it because you just want to save more money? That's really not enough to carry you through a financial journey. So for me, it was freedom. Like freedom is priceless. A lot of people, they want to be free. They long for freedom. And that's something that we're willing to fight for. Like our ancestors fought for freedom. So I feel like it's tied to like a deeper thing. So you really have to look at your why. Like, why do I want to be debt free? Is it just because it sounds trendy and good? Because when you on day 14 or working 14 straight days in a row, from 6 in the morning to 10 at night, it's gonna get rough, and that trendy stuff is not gonna help. So you have to be tied to like just a deeper purpose, and it is a lot of his material is tied to Christian principles as well. Yeah, budget, freedom, manage, save. Yeah, exactly. And budgeting is the first step in that. So like I said, the $Every Dollar app is free and easy. You can use the $Every Dollar app. And then if you like, you can get the premium version. So one thing in the book, he talks about cash envelopes. So basically what you do is, or how you do this the correct way, which I have my budget binder here. So I got a little cute budget binder. This is my second one. I got this from Amazon. It probably was like $10. Um, but the budget binder, basically, you get your fixed expenses, so the things that don't really change, and then the things that you can use cash with. So for me, my budget envelopes that I utilize are for Walmart, groceries, gas, anything medical, and then grooming. So I get my hair cut, I want to get my nails and toes done, I'm gonna pay for all those things with cash. Now, something like your light bill that you already pay online, you're not going to put that in there. Like your mortgage or your rent, you're not going to put that in there. Those are things that you would pay online. But things that can be paid for with cash and in person. I know one thing that was a really struggle for me when I look back before I was budgeting was constantly swiping my debit card to get gas. I will always go over, and that's what would really kind of get me in the red sometimes. So using cash for gas is one thing that has really helped me, as well as getting groceries with gas. Because when you go to get groceries, you got your card. Whether you go over budget or not, you're going to swipe it. You don't want to put nothing back. That's embarrassing. Like, it's people behind you. But when you have the cash envelope, you already know. Let me make sure I calculate this before I get up there so that I don't have to feel like that secondhand embarrassment. So yeah, use cash for gas. I don't like to swipe my card at gas stations anyway. Like once my card, I saw some like unknown charges, and I know it was from when I swiped my card. It probably had like a skimmer or something on it. So yeah, you got to get out the car and go inside. Just I get gas in the daylight. I go to a gas station, that I know. But yeah, use cash for gas. Like that's perfectly fine. I think in our country, especially right now, like we hear all this cashless society and all this other stuff, and oh, I don't want to use cash. I never use cash. Using cash, like they talk about this in the book, like when you give somebody cash, it's like like you have like your body like has a response to it because you see that money leaving your hand. You feel like the angst sometimes with like giving that money up, and it helps you to just be more responsible versus you just swiping. You don't care. And that was my thing, just swiping. Like I had it like that and I did not. So definitely, using cash is very important. So in my budgeting envelopes are really cute. I got them from Amazon side ones because it's just easier to see in there. And these probably were like $12 and you get a whole pack. But they're really cute. They have all types of ones. They have some on Etsy too, but I got mine from Amazon. So yeah, so that's what I do each month. So I do my budget first a week before I get paid. You need to do it like before you get paid. At least like give yourself like several days. And then yeah, they're really cute. Those were $12, but they have like all types. And I like those because they're the side. You can easily get in there and then you can easily like see what's in there. The ones I had before were like your regular standard envelopes. And those are kind of hard sometimes to go into, especially when I'm trying to move quickly. I don't carry all of my envelopes on me at the same time for safety purposes, as well as in the beginning. I didn't want to be tempted, like, with going in another envelope or something like that. I want to say it was probably like 12 in a pack. So there's a good amount. And then they come with little stickers to label each envelope. And then they come with budget sheets as well. So it's a pretty good buy. Just type in budget envelopes on Amazon and then a whole bunch will pop up. But yeah, I don't carry them all on me at the same time. So if I know I'm not going to the grocery store, I know I'm not getting gas, I'm not carrying those things with me. I'm just going to carry like what I need. Also, another thing about the budgeting envelopes is that you only use what's in that envelope. You don't go into other envelopes under any circumstances. So if you forgot the grocery envelope and all you have is the gas envelope, you don't go into the gas envelope and say, oh, well, once I get back home, blah, 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 blah. Nope. You go back home and you get that envelope. Like you have to kind of put those behavior modifications in place to stop yourself from, going over your budget or doing something that you shouldn't. So yeah, I've had to turn around and go home or leave something there. And it sucks, but hey, that's the mission that I'm on. So yeah, that's very important about the budgeting envelopes too. In addition to, so when I go to the bank, because it helps me to interact with the bank more. Like I do online banking as well, but I think it's important to go there in person. It helps you to like actually see your money. You see where it's at. The bank has a purpose. It's not just like this mysterious figure, that's in the back. So I do go to the bank on a monthly basis. I write down what I need on a sticky note. So let's say I need 50 for gas, I need 100 for groceries, I need 20 for medicine. I write it down on a sticky note and then I give it to the teller and I let them know that this is what I want, and I want you to take it out individually, and I tell them like the increments that I want it in. So the bank like will help you with that. I know when I first started doing it, I had to like coach them through it a lot. Now I come in there and they already know what I'm doing. But if they're not used to some people, then you may have to coach them. So you may have to say, hey, I need 100 for this, but I need it in 20. Take it out individually. Because if you're taking out, let's say in total it's $150, they may just give you like 150, and it's like, no, no, no. I need you to give me this in these increments. And then as they get used to you, then they'll be able to do it. So that's important as well. So yeah, you go to the bank and you take out what you need. You put it in your envelopes right then and there. And then you go to your next stop. So yeah, the budgeting method, it was something that was different for me in the beginning because I was one of those people who I never had cash on me, but now because of the envelope method, I've gotten used to carry cash. I think it's important because sometimes women, like, we may be like a little afraid to carry cash. We may be like a little nervous, but like I said, I don't keep the envelopes on me all at the same time. In addition to, I do have my personal protection measures. So just like you protect yourself, no matter where you were going, no matter what you had on you, you still want to follow those measures. So that's very, very just important as well. But budgeting is what really helped me to stay on top of my money, to know, to know what's going in, to know what's coming out. And one thing you will notice once you start doing the budgeting envelopes is you will notice that you have money left over because you see that money in that envelope and you don't want to spend it all. So you're going to be very frugal. You will notice, hey, like, and at first I remember in the beginning, I probably had maybe like $20 left over at like the end of the month. But I remember a time where I didn't have anything left over. So once you do the budgeting envelopes, you will notice, oh, this month I had $20 left over. Wait a minute, this month I got $50 left over, and it keeps increasing, increasing, increasing. And what you do with that money that's left over, you can use it for a sinking fund. Something that you want to purchase and you don't have all of the money for it yet, but you're saving for it, little by little. You can use it for that. Or when I was on my debt, you see that is going to help. I was always a cheap person, but I wasn't. Am I that better? Am I unfrozen now? My Wi-Fi was off. Let me know if that's better. I think I'm good now. Okay, I think I'm back now. I just realized I was off. But yeah, as you're rolling those payments, as you're seeing the momentum and the premise of the debt snowball, because there's different ones. So there's the debt snowball and then there's avalanche. The avalanche focuses on biggest to smallest, but the debt snowball is from smallest to largest. And that really focuses on the small wins that give you a momentum. Yeah, definitely protection is key. So yeah, whatever protective methods that you were utilizing before, keep using them. But don't be afraid to like carry cash. Because I mean anything can happen at any time, whether you got cash or not, if we're being honest. Um, but yeah, definitely mace, whatever you typically carry, carry those things on you. Um, but yeah, that's the budget binder. That is that's my number one how to get debt free. In addition to reading or listening to an audiobook. So I think it's important to educate yourself like this live. And to just educate folks who are trying to get there. And then don't be discouraged. So have an accountability partner, have somebody who's going to hold you accountable. I'll be honest, like my debt-free journey, and I talked about this, I'm doing my debt-free scream, but it was pretty lonely. Like when I told people like, oh, I'm paying off my debt, they were like, ugh, why you want to do that? Like, because I want to be debt-free. And they were like, not me. So the debt-free journey is lonely. I eventually stopped telling people, like my close friends and family knew, but I like stopped telling people because yeah, it is lonely. There will be times, you know, where you just sit in well, you probably shouldn't be sitting around in the house because you need to be working. But there will be times that where it's just like, man, I'm ready for this to be over. Yeah, people can be, you know how people sometimes they'll just discourage you because they know they're supposed to be doing it, but they don't have, you know, the gunk to do it. So, you know, folks will try to discourage you. Like, why you want to do that? You always gonna be in debt. That's just a part of life. Like, no, you might always be in debt, but that's not my story. So if you want to have that, you know, that mind frame, then you have it. But yeah, just be aware of the discouragers, especially folks who are not willing to be flexible in their thinking. You know, we all heard, yeah, exactly. No negativity. So figure out, you know, figure out your group of people and then stick to those people because those are going to people that are going to those will be the people that will drive you forward. I know for me, my church had a budgeting coach thing, like they have a whole financial department, and I signed up for a budget coach. I think it was like 6 or 12 weeks, but we meet every Wednesday virtually. We went through a workbook. I was looking for that workbook, but I don't know where it is. It's by Larry Burkett. So Dave Ramsey, that's where he got his whole thing from Larry Burkett. And we went through the workbook each week, and it talked about the principles of saving, budgeting, all of those things, paying off debt. And that was another free, and that was free through my church. That was another free education method that I used. Well, I meet with my budget coach every Wednesday. We go over my budget. We talk about my goals. She'd encourage me. She'd pray for me. And yeah, it was it was a good experience for me. So look at the free education measures that you can get. There are like free things out there, but I always warn people, like, make sure the person who you're following is where you want to be financially. Like, that's why I said earlier, like, I'm not keen on the people who Gucci down, who got all this stuff. Like, that materialistic stuff is what can lead you into debt. Not saying that people can't have nice things, but is that what you're leading with? You know, is the person leading with education? Like, I was a teacher, so I can clock somebody out real quick who not leading with education, the actual principles that make sense. So, you know, follow something that's going to be easy for you to understand, and that's where you want to be. So if you want to be debt free, you're going to follow somebody who's debt free and who like uses those principles. So I know for me, debt is just not an option outside of a mortgage. But like, you know, payments, I can't do it. Payments are like, the thought of me paying on something, like, it gives me anxiety. Like, I cannot go back there. When you pay off a whole lot of debt, no thanks. I actually just bought a washer and dryer. That was really like my debt free gift, and it felt good to, like, when I typed in what I needed to on Lowe's, that was it. And what no payments gonna come on that thing. I ain't gonna have to pay nothing monthly. Yeah, debt will give you anxiety. Like, financial stress is one of the biggest stressors right now. Like, debt, money in general, and it's scary when you don't know how to handle it. So that's why they always say, like, you know, write out what you owe. Once you actually write it out, it's not as scary because you see, let me see if I have mine here. You see what you're paying off. I think I have mine in my purse. Let me see. So I always carry my, oh yeah, I have it in my wallet. I always carry my debt snowball in my wallet because it reminds me where I was and where I don't ever want to be again. So this is mine. This is mine right here. And this is actually the second paper because my first one, as I was writing it down, like, things would fall off. But this one starts from December 2020. So the first year that I started my debt-free journey. So I had, in December 2020, I had paid off a little of the debt. I was at $38,738.93. Um, I had a credit card that was $1,323.45. Had a personal loan that was $1,998.30. Had my student loans; those were $14,180. And then I had my car loan that was $21,237.19. So you can kind of see like that was like four, and then by that each maybe like every other month I'm crossing something off. And then on the back you only see like those two things. So, and this was my yeah, this was probably the last one that I wrote. I think I might have another one. And yeah, I keep this with me in my wallet because every time I open my wallet, it reminds me, don't do nothing you're supposed to be doing. And now that's like my little trophy now. So write it down. Like, it does make you anxious when you don't know what it is. But once you get everything out in the open, no shame, no guilt, no embarrassment, it is what it is. I'm going to handle it. Once you write it down, okay, good, yeah. It just, and then for me, I like to check stuff off. So I'm a writer. I like planners. I like checking things off. That makes me feel good. So when you check it off each month, I know for me, like that felt so good for me. Getting those debt payoff letters, that felt so good for me. My last one was my car. I need to frame that one. But yeah, those things like feel so good. So as you write it out, as you remember that like paying off debt is a marathon, especially for people who have six-figure debt. Yeah. And that's the educator in me as well. I need to write stuff down. My students need to write. We need to see stuff written out because it makes sense. But yeah, as you're, don't be discouraged. Keep going. But yeah, some points you do get anxious. Some points you do feel like, especially doing my student loan payoff, because I had 6 different loans. You pay off one, but you got 5 other ones. You pay off 4, you got a few more other ones. And even just paying off like all of my student loan debt, because my student loans were $14,180, and my car was like a little, I think it was like neck and neck. So even that, I just paid off 14. Ooh, I got another 14 to go. So, celebrate the small wins, encourage yourself. It's just for like literally this moment in time. Like, it's only just for this moment in time that I am going to be in this position. And I like to think about like where I would be once I was debt free. So I would always think about that. Like, what's the first thing I'm gonna do? I know right now, as I've been debt free, one thing that I've enjoyed doing is rebuilding my closet, because I didn't buy anything for 22 months. So I've really enjoyed, like, now I have a line item for clothes. So that was something that I never had before. And spending my little money on clothes each month, and just rebuilding that part of me, like, that feels so good. So, just those little things. Buying a washer and dryer, like, that was just like I just like go and peek at the washer and dryer sometimes. I'm not even washing it, I'm just looking at it because I'm so excited about it. So just those little things. And then of course, most importantly, you have to say no to any new debts under any circumstances. No, 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 no. That's why I cut up the cards. So anything that's going to tempt you. I know for me, one thing that was really tempting for me is real big right now, that Afterpay stuff. And I was doing like the PayPal Afterpay. Whew, that was so tempting for me. Once I paid that off, I had to close it down immediately because I'm not strong like that. So, maybe you have to unsubscribe from this. Maybe you have to, take away this from your, now I can look at it and I know like I'm not going to do it, but you have to build up that tolerance. So you have to build up a tolerance to say no to debt, to say no to bad financial principles. And you should be listening to something every day. Like, I listen to the Dave Ramsey show. I'm debt free, but I still listen to it every single day because I want to hear that knowledge. I want to hear other people's stories. I want to hear people who was where I was, and I want to hear people who are where I want to go. So, and I wasn't a podcast person before that. I thought podcasts were for like old people, but It's very, like, I enjoy it. I would listen to a podcast every single day. And Anthony O'Neill, he's another good one. He's a black guy, younger black guy, and he was a part of his show as well. So that's another person to follow. Free podcast. He has a book, but he still has those same principles, which is to be debt free. That's the quickest way to get to wealth. And then after that is owning a home. So I'm on baby step. There are 8 baby steps. One is the save $1,000 for your baby emergency fund. And then once you are debt free, you roll it in. 2, yeah, mind over matter, especially, yeah, exactly. Like, you have to psych yourself out. Like, no, I know it's over there, but I'm not going to do it. And then baby step 2 is pay off your debt. And then 3 is save up 3 to 6 months of your total expenses for your emergency fund. And you should already have your $1,000 to kickstart it. And then 3B is where I'm at, that's saving for a house. But yeah, mind over matter with debt. Now it's not even tempting to me. It's almost kind of funny to me. You, like, once you get connected to sound financial principles, you start realizing how they just try to push debt on you. Like, my goodness, like, they literally be trying to shove it down your throat. My friend just told me yesterday, she was like, she was out to eat, and she, like, when she was paying for her meal, she saw that there was an option to break it into 3 payments. And I was like, are you serious? And she was like, yes. So, like, they literally will shove debt down your throat. Like, it's just unacceptable, especially to kids, to minorities, to first generation immigrants. Like, it's unacceptable in our country. So once you get connected to sound principles, you see, like, the schemes and the plots. Like, they want you to stay in debt. Because that's how, I know for me, like, I want to upgrade my phone, but the deals are only if you finance it. And I'm just like, why is that? Oh, because you get more money when I pay you something each month versus me just giving you the $1,000 off. Right, that's it. So yeah, they are literally shoving debt down our throats. And, like, we have to say no. We definitely have to say no. You have to be weird, as they say, because everybody else is over here. But like our parents used to tell us, if they jump off a bridge, you're gonna jump off too. Like, no. So, like, they can be over there, that's fine. We all have our choices. But as for me, I'm just like, do not ask me about no payments for nothing. Like, no, I'm not that girl no more. I'm gonna pay it outright in cash and just call it a day and be done with it. And you sleep so much better after that. Once you know something is paid for, like, you sleep so good versus, oh God, I gotta pay this outside of your regular responsibilities. But those payments, that paper was the bane of my existence for 22 months. And I'm glad to say is done. So yeah, I'll be doing financial principles each week. I'll be going live talking about that. I'll also be sharing videos in my playlist, which is on my page. Yes, peace of mind. It feels good. You're gonna sleep better. You're gonna feel better. Your confidence is gonna be through the roof. I feel like I'm debt free. Like, you can't tell me nothing. Like, when I walk in, you need to sit up straight. Okay, I'm debt free. So, yeah, it is a confidence booster. It's a peace booster. It's really you having control over, like, your life. Like, we say we grown, right? Like, we grown, I'm grown. But a lot of us, like, we're children with our money. Like, I was a child with my money, just doing childish stuff. So, you know, our pockets have to show that, because you just saying you grown is just something out your mouth. Like, what does that really mean? Like, do your actions show that? So yeah, I had to be grown for real. So I'll be dropping videos each week. I'll be coming live, doing various financial principles. In my playlist, you'll see my debt-free journey. I'll add this one under there as well. And then I'll be sure to add the every dollar stuff and the total money makeover. And they're not paying me, like, to do this at all. Like, I'm not like a sponsor or anything. I believe in these principles for real. Like, they changed my life. That they change my future. They'll change my children's future. So yeah, this is something that like I actually like really believe in. So I'll link those things in this video, and then you'll see them in my playlist as well. And if you haven't checked out the budget binder video that premiered at 6:30, it's up now. I'll make sure that this video is up after I log off of here. And if you haven't, be sure to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. We are over 1,000 subscribers. So I am so excited. And you help me by liking and sharing my stuff and by watching my content. So I definitely thank you so much. And y'all, I'm about to go eat some neck bones and some black eyed peas in honor of New Year. So happy New Year, and I'll see y'all soon. Bye. Thanks for tuning in.